This is your Utica Comets pregame show with Eyewitness News Sports Director David Edelstein. Utica Comets face-off.
We're starting to get back into a bit of a routine here now as the Comets are back in action tonight. Welcome to Comets Face-Off. I'm David Edelstein. Comets didn't play for an entire month while the players followed COVID-19 protocols, but tonight Utica plays its third game in 5 days, part of a series of 4 in 6. The Syracuse Crunch are in town for a makeup of one of the Comets' 10 postponed games from March. It's the second of 3 games in a row between these teams, and when Utica finally returned to action on Friday, the Comets hosted the Rochester Americans. Here it's period 1 as we look back. A pass through the legs off the boards to Mitch Elliott off the post. Take another look in slow-mo. Utica had twice as many shots as Rochester in the first frame, including this one, but was down 1-0 at the first intermission. So now early in the second, Sam Annis is back from the Blues taxi squad. He gets this one. What a move over to John Stevens with the backhand in the corner. Remember, Annis led the American Hockey League in assists last season. He gets one there, so it's tied at 1. 10 minutes later, still period 2. Annis takes this on the side. We've seen this before. This time it's Gadjevic there in front. He's been crashing the net all season. Now the Comets have a 1-goal lead. Annis actually joked after the game that this is becoming his signature move, as we've seen him do that with many players right in front of the net from him shooting from the right side. Rochester did tie it up, though, and then took the lead in the third, and the Comets fall 4-2 in their first game back. Comets head coach Trent Cole had said he really was not focused on winning that game as much as he was making sure his players were able to be healthy to get through a full hockey game. It was a tough game the next day at Syracuse. Joel Hofer made his first start as a Comet, and he had a few good saves early on. Right there, he has one early in the game. He had a few highlight reel saves throughout it as he was down from the Blues taxi squad as well. 2-0 at the first break, though. Then we go to period 2. Jack Rathbone, he calls this his signature move from the back. He was kind of in the left side of your screen there. Look at it again. A slam all the way into the back of the net. His second professional goal, but that's all Utica would get. The Comets fall 5-1 on Saturday. So back in action with 2 losses, Utica falls to 4th place in the North Division by points percentage. The Comets, of course, finally in double digits for games played. They're bookended by their 2 most common opponents this year, the Crunch and the Americans. And let's look at team comparisons for tonight. The teams are even with 2 wins, 2 losses against each other this season. This really stark difference between these 2 teams is seen in scoring. Syracuse with 14 more goals scored than allowed this year. Utica with 1 more allowed than it has scored. Both power plays for each team are in the top 3 in the North Division by percentage, but middle of the road for the whole league. And the Comets have played 6 less games than the Crunch, yet have more power play goals on fewer opportunities, which is to their advantage. The penalty kills are right there with each other too, but they're in the bottom 3 of the division and bottom 3rd of the league. Near names that have made it all happen for Utica. We've talked about Gadjevic leading in goals. He's averaging a goal a game now over his last 8. That helps him lead in points. And last year's league assists leader, Sam Annis, leads Utica with 9 assists. Go figure. Those make up all of his points, too. He hasn't scored this season. The Comets are happy to have him back, though. He contributes the most to scoring when he plays, and Gadjevic leads in putting the puck on net, creating opportunities both for himself and also some rebounds for others to jump on. He says everything's just flowing for him this year, and he's crashing the net a lot more than in the past. And looking at the Crunch, well, let's just say 22-year-old Boris Tkachuk is seemingly the key to the engine. Right there we see points. We could also add the other 4 to the screen too, because you're going to see his name for all those points, goals, assists, points per game, and shots. Alex Bray-Belay would have otherwise have the team goals and shots leader, but he was called up to the Lightning yesterday to fill in for an injury, so we won't be seeing him. So those are the guys who have been making an impact through the first half of the season. Names we've heard quite a bit. After the break, we'll speak with one Comets player who's played just 6 games so far, but is already making a name for himself. Defenseman Jack Rathbone joins us after the break.
You're watching the Utica Comets face-off.
The way the National Hockey League is set up this year leaves a lot of room for young players to get some opportunities. Each NHL team has 4 to 6 of its AHL players up on its taxi squad this season. Add on top of that the 5 Comets players who were called up to the St. Louis Blues throughout the year, and there's a lot of opportunity in Utica. And one of those young players is Jack Rathbone. He left Harvard University 2 years early to make the switch and go pro this season. The Vancouver Canucks kept him on their taxi squad to start the year before sending him down to Utica, where he made an immediate impact. His first game in Utica, actually, he had 3 assists, and it was his first pro game as well. Jack, what was your mindset coming in to this season after not even having played for an entire year before this?
Yeah, I mean, it helps when you're playing with really good players. I think, playing with Woozy there pretty early on made things pretty easy. And obviously continuing to build that chemistry with everyone basically on the team. But yeah, early on it was more just pure excitement to be playing hockey again. I think being able to compete and take hits, make plays, all the little things that you kind of missed in terms of practice reps. So I think, I just came in there trying to work hard, and obviously you don't try and contribute from the point side as much. You kind of just focus on trying to make the right play, try and get into the forwards' hands, especially being a D-man, try and get into the forwards' hands, let them make plays. So, no, it's been good so far, and hopefully we can keep things going.
When you were at Canucks training camp and on the Vancouver taxi squad, and now you're here in Utica watching the guys around you, what do you take away from seeing these other professional hockey players' games, especially when you know that a guy like Dakota Joshua is just one example of someone who was just here a few weeks ago on the Comets, gets called up and scores his first NHL goal in his first NHL game?
Yeah, I think Dakota was there before I got here, but no, it's really cool to see guys get rewarded for the hard work they put in down here. And just shows you how close you are to achieving your dream. And I think it gives you a little bit more, not that you need it, but a little bit more motivation every day coming to the rink, knowing that really any day it could be, you could be on a flight going to Vancouver, St. Louis. So no, it's definitely cool.
Jack, how do you judge success? Like, how do you know that you're actually doing the right things on a day-to-day basis here?
Yeah, I think especially coming down here and talking with Vancouver's management and all the staff, both up there and down here. I think for me, a lot of it's trying to round out my 200-foot game. I think my strengths are obviously my creativity and my offensive game, but I think when I'm at my best, I think I'm moving my feet and I'm playing a full 200 feet. Obviously being able to create from the red line towards their end, but being able to make a good first pass and then kind of be that fourth forward and being able to jump into the rush. So I think that's when I'm at my best. And I mean, just in terms of long-term goals, obviously you want to play in the NHL, but I think down here, going to the rink every day with that same mindset and trying to accomplish something, I think every single day is something that the perspective that I've taken is going to the rink, whether it's video or off ice or obviously on ice, you're going to get your reps in, but trying to accomplish something every day to get better and obviously achieve that dream.
And Jack, who do you have as your role models? Who have your role models been as you've gone to try and achieve that dream, and who have guided you along the way to this really impactful and successful start to your pro career?
Yeah, I think obviously my parents, I think are 2 people that have been pretty influential in obviously my career, both on and off the ice. My dad being my coach for a really long time. He played hockey at Boston College and then was drafted by the Islanders and eventually played pro. So I think him and my mom have been obviously the 2 most influential people in my life. And then I think both my little brother and sister, obviously my younger brother was diagnosed with autism at a young age, so he kind of puts things in perspective for you. And the opportunity, you've been afforded to play this game and play it at such a high level and hopefully make a career out of it is something that I definitely don't take for granted. So I think those 2 kind of in the back of my head going to the rink every day is something that, again, like I said, not that you need the extra motivation, but if you do need to tap into it, it's there.
Well, Jack, you've looked pretty motivated on the ice and clearly have had that impact. Congrats on that second pro goal now as well. Utica Comets forward Jack Rathbone of the Vancouver Canucks organization, really thank you for your time to introduce yourself to the community a little bit more now that you're here before tonight's game. Let's take one more quick look at Rathbone's numbers so far this year, too. In 6 games played, he has 6 points. He just scored his second pro goal, like we said. That was on Saturday, and he's helping out his teammates with 4 assists, too. And just 21 years old, Jack is a guy that you should keep your eye on. Maybe see him in the NHL sooner rather than later. So it's almost time for puck drop against the Syracuse Crunch right here on WPNY. On the other side of the break, we send it over to Comets broadcaster Jason Shia. After the game also, you can tune into Eyewitness News first at 10 on WFXV, and also Eyewitness News at 11 on WUTR for your game recap and also tonight's highlights. So until then, enjoy the game, everybody. Sit back, relax. Maybe you're going to the game. Looking forward to seeing you there. As always, stay friendly and stay tuned.